Hi there, this is Tom Rhodes from the Utility Warehouse Discount Club, and this video is to show you how to fill out the Feed In Tariff application form. It's a simple step-by-step guide to completing the form. It will make it a lot easier by following this than to just try and do it yourself, because it can take some time and in places it does get a little complex. So follow this and you'll have no problems whatsoever. Before we start, just wanted to recommend, if you haven't done already, to join the Utility Warehouse Discount Club as your energy provider, because they are my #1 recommended provider for feed-in tariff payments. There's a number of reasons why. First of all, they will pay you a higher feed-in tariff rate than all the other power providers in the market. They pay an extra 2p per kilowatt hour of electricity generated on top of the national government feed-in tariff rate. This can add up to an extra income of £80–90 a year. Very worth doing. Not only that, they will also make swift monthly payments. Again, actually getting paid your tariff by many of the big 6 providers, British Gas, Npower, E.ON. They have in the past been slow to make the payments. That you're supposed to get them paid quarterly. Sometimes it can run on to 6 months. So myself and all my customers who have been using the Utility Warehouse discount scheme have been given very swift monthly payments. If you give a meter reading every month, they will pay you every month, and that tariff is credited onto your bill as well, so it offsets any energy costs or utility costs that you have onto your bill as well. If you are not already a customer, to become a customer, just go to www.lowratebills.co.uk, get onto the home page there, and at the top of the screen you'll see contact, and you can click on contact, and then myself or one of my colleagues will contact you to run through the benefits of being a Utility Warehouse member and to get you signed up, so that not only do you get a higher feed-in tariff rate, but you will also get cheaper rates on your phone bills, internet bills and your energy as well. So we're going to move on to the feed-in tariff application form, which is from the Utility Warehouse. And before you start, there's a few things that you need to get together first. You will need an MCS certificate, an EPC certificate, proof of purchase receipt, a photo of your generation meter, and a copy of your driving license or passport. This is what your EPC certificate looks like. This is your proof of purchase receipt, and this is your MCS certificate. This certificate is probably the most important part of these documentations, because on this document is the details of your generation meter, and it will have your MCS number, and we're going to come back to this when we actually get onto the form, because a few of the items on the form that you need to fill in, the information is on this certificate. Of course, you need a photo of your generation meter. This is part of Utility Warehouse's application. So if you haven't done already, take a photo of your meter. If you haven't received your documentation by email, if you are a PV Solar UK customer, please contact them on 01416 415 575, and they will email you the documentation that you need for this feed-in tariff application. One thing that does hold this process up is if you haven't returned your satisfaction form. After your installation had been completed, you should have been asked to sign a satisfaction note by the electrician or one of the installers. Once the office get that satisfaction note, it is then that they email you the documentation. So if you haven't done already, get the satisfaction note signed and return to head office. Until you do that, you won't get your documentation. First thing you need to do is to print off the form itself and get it all ready. And as you're working through this video, just pause the video after each page and fill one page at a time. I think that's the best way to do it. So going on to the very first page, very easy really. You've got generator details, payment details, and then site details here at the bottom. Generator details, fill in your name, address, postcode, email address. And where it says, are you an existing utility warehouse customer for your electricity, tick yes. If you've got this far, it means you've already applied to be a utility warehouse customer. And even though your energy hasn't transferred yet, you are classed as a customer because you have made the application, and you will have an account number as well, which goes there. The account number can be found on your very first welcome email that you should have received when you did sign up to be a member. This part underneath doesn't apply, so you move straight onto payment details. Under payment details, tick the top box, I wish to receive my Feed In Tariff payments directly onto my utility warehouse account, and by doing that you get the extra 2p kilowatt hour payment if you retain your gold status on there. And then it's just bank account name, sort code and account number where you want the payments to go into, and that's it. Moving down to site details, so going back to payment details, this part is only if you want the payment to go to someone else, so that you just leave that blank. And then on site details, all of that's blank as well because the site address is the same as the generator details above. Number 3, site description, just tick domestic on there. So that is the first page done. So if you want to stop the video and fill out that, and then come back for page 2. So this is page 2. This is where you're going to need to get your MCS certificate to hand. The information you need for the installation details are on the MCS certificate. It's all on there. Starting at number 1, technology type, solar panels, tick. Declared net capacity is on the MCS certificate. It'll be around 3.2 or 3.19, whatever it is. The MCS certificate number is the number at the top of the certificate that simply says MCS so that one goes in there. Installation type is retrofit. You tick that. Leave number 5. And going down onto meter details, this is where you fill in your supply number. So your supply number is effectively the address of your electricity, and it can be found on your one of your old bills that you might have, and if not, again going back to your utility warehouse welcome email, the first email you received, the supply number should be on there, so fill out that. Since your installation, does your meter turn backwards? No, leave that blank. Number 2, generation meter details. Again, this is all on the MCS certificate, so you need your serial number and the manufacturer and the model. And it's saying please attach a photo showing this information. So the photo's got to be clear, showing the manufacturer and the model and the serial number of the meter as well. And it also asks you to give a start reading, so just type in there what the actual reading is in kilowatt hours. Number 3, you don't have an export meter, so you just tick that box there and go straight to question 4. With question 4, you tick this box. My installed capacity is less than 30 kilowatts. This box here. My installed capacity is less than 30 kilowatts and I have no export meter, so I wish to have my exports estimated. So you tick in there. So there's no export meter. What happens is your export payment will get paid at 50% of whatever your generation reading is. Grants, there's no grant at the moment, so that is left blank as well. So that's the end of page 2. Stop the video and go through it. On to page 3 now. This is just a tick to say that you've got all the supporting documents. So if you've followed this video step by step so far, you should have those. So MCS certificate, tick. Proof of identity, such as your passport or driving license, tick. Receipt of ownership, so that's your sales purchase agreement receipt, which we had at the start, tick there. An EPC certificate you have. Copy of a grant letter you won't have, so you leave that. And then photo of your generation meter is ticked there. Read the declaration, sign and date at the bottom. Very easy. Alright, moving on to the solar PV declarations. This is where a lot of people have got quite confused, and If you haven't looked at one of these before, it does seem a little bit confusing, but it's really very simple, and if you just follow what I'm going to do coming along, then it's dead easy. So starting off with this first one, onto the solar PV declarations, new installations and extensions. Onto energy efficiency declaration, tick one of the following boxes. Box 1 is the one you need. You're just ticking to say that your house has passed the EPC at a level of D or above, and the certificate has been included in the application. Onto multi-installation declaration, it's the bottom box you tick, so you're saying neither myself, the generator, or the nominated recipient owns or receives FIT payments from 25 or more solar. So you're just saying that you've got less than 25 installs. So top box on energy and efficiency, bottom box on multi-installation declaration. And then on to the actual declarations themselves. So for the EPC one, it's declaration 1. So you put I and then print your name in there and sign at the bottom and date. Declaration 2, ignore. Declaration 3, ignore as well. On to the next page. For the multi-installation declaration, you are saying here that it's declaration 5. Again, you're saying that neither yourself or the nominated recipient, if there is one, have applied for 25 installations. So again, print your name under I. The nominated recipient, leave blank because you are the nominated recipient, and sign and date at the bottom. And that is it for the declarations. The next few sheets do not apply at all unless it's a new solar generator. So the rest of the application, this one, these, there, you can throw those away, you don't need them. So that's it for the declarations. All it is, tick the 2 boxes on this page, here and here, sign, print your name and sign and date document declaration 1. You don't need to do the counter signing. Declaration 2 blank, declaration 3 blank. And on multi-installation declarations, leave declaration 4, that's completely blank, and fill in declaration 5 to say that you are not installing more than 25 systems. Print and sign at the bottom, and that's the end of the form done. If you followed this through and done everything, then your form is now complete, and you can either scan this in onto your scanner, so you can attach the application as an email and send it directly. And if you do this, you send it straight to Feed In Tariffs at utilitywarehouse.co.uk. This is the best way of applying for the Feed In Tariff, by the way, doing it all by email. So if you've got a scanner, this is what I'd recommend you do. You scan in all your documents and you scan in the filled out application form, attach it all on one email, send it to Feed In Tariffs at Utility Warehouse, and they'll automatically reply to say that they've received it. If you haven't got a scanner and you just want to keep it simple and post everything, then get all the copies of your documentation printed off alongside the filled out application. Then you'll just post it in, and the address is down here at the bottom. I'd put to Feed In Tariff Department, Utility Warehouse, PO Box 63046 London, NW2 6XY. One word of advice though, whatever you do, if you are posting it, make sure it's at least recorded delivery, if not special delivery. This Feed In Tariff contract is a very important form, and although it wouldn't be the end of the world if it got lost in the post, it would obviously cause a bit of a headache because you wouldn't know it was lost, and you'd be waiting and waiting for them to reply. And if they don't get it, they're not going to reply. So make it recorded delivery if you are doing it by post. I have had one customer who did get their certification lost in the post, and they actually missed out on the higher tariff. The tariff date changed while it was all going on, and she's lost out on income because of it. And that is it. I hope that has been a help to you. If there's any trouble, just go to lowratebills.co.uk, go onto the contact section, and you can email me via there any questions you might have.